What are the best school districts in Cincinnati? Where are these places in the city, and how much does it cost to buy a house in one of these communities? That's what we're going to look at in today's video. All right, so hey guys, welcome back. My name is Eric Sztanyo with Keller Williams Realty and TeamStanyo.com, where we are helping you build a bridge to your future real estate dreams. On this channel, we talk all things Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky real estate for buyers, sellers, and investors. And in this video, what I want to look at is for someone who's looking to move to the city of Cincinnati, especially if you have a family or you're thinking about having kids in the future, one of the top things and even if not really, because you're looking at property values, everyone wants to know where are the top school districts in the city. So what I want to do in this video is go through the top 10 school districts in Cincinnati and some that are in Northern Kentucky, which if you're unfamiliar with this area, Northern Kentucky kind of makes the bottom southern loop of the greater Cincinnati area when you look at it on the map, and there's some great school districts there as well. So I want to look at kind of the top 10. I want to look at where are these in the city, so you can kind of plot out where you might want to be looking for a house. And then what I did is I pulled some information from the Cincinnati MLS and the Northern Kentucky MLS in terms of looking at the average and the median sale price of homes that have gone in these top 10 school districts in the last 6 months. So you can kind of get a feel of how much does it cost to get into these school districts. So let's jump over to the computer and we'll take a look here at the data. Okay, so here we are on niche.com, and I just did a simple Google search for best school districts in Cincy area. This site is pretty thorough in terms of when you dig down into each one of these school districts. It's going to give you reviews. It's going to, in terms of academics, teachers, college prep, health and safety. Gives you a little overview of the area. It gives you a general idea on the map. We're going to look at that a little bit more carefully. Gives you the ranking in all of Ohio for the school district, for best places to teach. And then it even gives you some homes for sale here, which are kind of nice, so you can kind of start digging in and doing a search or getting a feel for that. And then it goes into each elementary, middle, and high. So a pretty cool site overall. And if you want to dig down into each school district, we're not going to do that in this video. You can do that on your own. What I wanted to look at more specifically in this video was kind of the top 10, just so you get an idea of where are these districts and where are they in the city, and how much is the home values in these areas. So just looking at the top 10 here, all of these are ranked A+ in terms of this site, niche.com. Now again, their rankings are based on a rigorous analysis of key statistics and millions of reviews from students and parents using data from the U.S. Department of Education. Ranking factors include state test scores, college readiness, graduation rates, SAT, ACT scores, teacher quality, public school district ratings, and more. So you get a pretty robust review here. There's other sites that are going to have different reviews. This one's fairly comprehensive, so I went with this one. So what you see here, you've got Indian Hill. I'm just going to roll through these top 10. They're all rated A+ in terms of this site. You've got Mason City School District, Sycamore Community Schools, Wyoming City Schools, Marymount, Madeira City School District. This one's sponsored, so we're going to kind of skip over that. Kings Local School District, Forest Hills Local School District. Here's where you see your first Kentucky one. Fort Thomas, Kentucky is ranked number 9, A+. In fact, I might dig into that one. Loveland City School District's number 10. Just looking at number 11, that's also A+. That's Lakota, which is starting to get a little bit more on the west side of the city we'll look at. And Beechwood, which is another Northern Kentucky, is coming in at number 12. I'm just curious really quick to look at Fort Thomas in terms of where they're at in Kentucky, because I know they're very highly ranked. Yeah, and so they're the best place to teach in all of Kentucky. They're the number 1 school district in all of Kentucky, and districts with the best teachers, they're number 1. So we'll get into the pricing of that in just a minute. Let's go over here and just take a look at the city at large. I'm going to zoom out just a little bit. And we'll dig into each one of these areas, but typically what you're going to find with all that top 10 list we just mentioned, it's all basically on the east side of Cincinnati in this area. And then Fort Thomas, if I zoom in here, and then Fort Thomas is right here in Northern Kentucky. That other Beechwood is in Fort Mitchell right here. but basically everything on the east side of Cincinnati. So if you dig down even deeper, inside the 275 loop, you've got Indian Hill, and let's go through that list again. There was Indian Hill. Let me head back up. Most of these are kind of named by the city, but a few of them you won't understand by just the name of the school district, like Sycamore. So I'm going to dig into that. So there's Mason, which is a little further east, northeast. Mason up here. Okay, so here's Mason. Sycamore is going to be more in this Blue Ash area. In fact, let's just take a look at that. This is by the way, is Forest Hills, which is the southeast Cincinnati. So if you take 275 east, you're going to get into what's called Anderson Township. And there's two high schools here, Turpin and Anderson High School, that are really strongly rated. Let's take a look real quick at this. Right now I'm on the Cincinnati MLS, and that was the Forest Hills. I want to look at the Sycamore Community Schools, and I want to map that out for you. Because that's not necessarily a city. But like I said, it's right up here, just kind of north of Kenwood in the Blue Ash area. Let me zoom out a little so you kind of know where you are. So I'm kind of getting into Loveland, just north of Kenwood. If we go back to Google Maps, you're basically right in this area for Sycamore schools. So let's keep going down the list here. So Sycamore, let's take a look at Wyoming and where that is, so you know where Wyoming's at. And the reason I'm doing this is I just want you to get a feel for where you're at in the city in relation to downtown, or in relation to the country, in relation to the suburbs. Wyoming is the one school district that's inside of the 275 loop that's ranked highly, that is west of I-275. So when you come to Cincinnati, you'll start to hear people talking about this east-west line divide. Typically what they're talking about is the I-75 corridor that splits it east-west side. West side tends to be a little bit more blue-collar, but here's the Wyoming school district, and it's just in between Finneytown, Redding, right here in Wyoming. So that's where that's another top-rated school district. Marymount and Madeira, they're both closely together over on the east side, just south of Indian Hill. So Marymount is just southwest. I'm zooming in here. So here's Marymount, here's Madeira, here's Indian Hill. So again, all these regions really strong, highly rated school districts. This is where we pointed to for the the Forest Hills School District before. And then coming back up north, your Blue Ash and Kenwood. This was going to be the Sycamore Township, or Sycamore School District. Kings, let's take a look at that just so you know where that is, because that's not necessarily a city either. So let's revise this. It's going to be a little bit more northeast. Big surprise, over by Kings Island, basically. Take a look at the map view. So it's pulling something from Columbus, but it's down just east of Mason. So you've got your big Mason school district, and this is really where a lot of the growth has happened in the last, 10, 15 years is in Mason. And what's happening now, the Lakota district is doing well in terms of ranking, which is more in this area right here. And so a lot of growth has been happening between Cincinnati and Dayton, kind of in this Hamilton and Butler County areas, Warren County, up here, Mason, Fairfield, Westchester. There's been a lot of growth. Here's Westchester, Old Westchester, the Lakota school districts. That's where a lot of growth has been happening in Cincinnati, kind of sprawling out that way, and Mason school district's kind of been leading the way. Forest Hills, we talked about. Fort Thomas Independent School, so that's where I live in Fort Thomas, Kentucky. It's the #1 school district in Kentucky, as you saw. And again, that's I love this location in terms of living here, because it's really easy to pop down on 471 to get downtown and enjoy OTR and all these things. Fort Thomas, the other thing that's nice about Fort Thomas is there's not really any through traffic, so it's kind of closed off by the river here. And so you're really, no one's going to Fort Thomas unless they're going to Fort Thomas. So there's a few of the other areas like that. Madeira is a little bit like that. Marymount, where it feels a little bit more small town feel. Mason has more of that suburbia feel. So does Loveland as you're getting outside the I-275 loop. and Anderson Township has more of that suburbia feel too. I mean, Fort Thomas is a suburb, but it's also really close to downtown, which I love. It's central to the whole city. So again, you might not necessarily think of Northern Kentucky when you're thinking Cincinnati schools, but this is one great school district. And again, the other one over in Fort Mitchell, Lakeside Park, you got your Beachmont school district over there, which is really strong as well. So that Loveland is the top 10. So and again, that's just on the northeast side of town, just north of Milford out here. And so, this all depends on where's your job going to be, what kind of commute you're looking at. But I wanted to give you guys a feel for the top 10, the best school districts in Cincinnati and where they're at. And now I want to pop over. What I did was I ran this info in the MLS. I'll show you guys this again, and I just ran the statistics button. So here we're on the Kings local school district, and it's giving me all kinds of great data. If you guys want this data, I can give it all to you, but I just pulled the average sell price and the median sale price, and this is for the last 6 months of these homes in all 10 of these districts. So looking at this data right here, this was 1 through 10 on our list. So if we go back to our list of 10, I just wrote all 10 of these districts out, 1 through 10. And let me make this a little bigger here. So as you can see here, Indian Hill is by far the average sale price, over at $901,000. And then you've got a range really through these other 10 districts. In fact, let me sort these by, so these were the top ranked 1 through 10, but let me go and sort this data. So we've got Indian Hill at the top. Marymount and Madeira are about the same for the average sale price of a home and median. 406 for average, median's at 359. 400,000 for Madeira, the median's 350. Then there's a pretty big jump down through the rest of these. Sycamore's average is 363. Mason at 350. Wyoming 333. Loveland 319. Forest Hills 301. Kings is 280, and Fort Thomas all the way down to 251. So you really, if you're trying to, get the best value, so to say, for getting in one of these school districts, and you don't really care what part of the city you're living in, you might want to look at these, bottom 5 or so areas. So Mason, Wyoming, Forest Hills, Kings, and Fort Thomas. Let's look again, just to give you guys a feel again. So let me zoom out. Mason's up here, right? Kings was right more central to the city, even on the west side. Let me go through that list again. It was Mason, Wyoming, Loveland, Forest Hills, Kings. So Wyoming was over here as well. Kings is further up by Mason, right up here. So Mason, Loveland, Kings. So this is an area that's fairly affordable, considering to be in the top 10 school district. Anderson Township certainly is another one of those areas that's fairly affordable to get in to be in a top 10 school district. And then the Fort Thomas school district. Now some of these homes can get pretty pricey, but overall there's some other areas where you can get in that are really affordable. So those might be the areas you want to look at. All right, everyone, there you have it, the top 10 school districts in Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky. So now you have a general idea of where they are on the map and about how much it costs to get into one of those communities. So if this video was helpful for you guys, please give us a like or comment below. Subscribe to our channel for all things Cincinnati and Northern Kentucky real estate. If you need help getting into one of these communities and buying a house, we'd love to work with you. Give us a call at Team Sztanyo, 513-813-6293. Thanks so much for watching, guys. We'll see you next time.